Welcome back to the Center on Buffalo podcast. We're joined by Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate you. Good to see you.
Absolutely, you too. Nice little top 20 finish out in Tahoe at the American Century. Was that about as good as you got, or did you feel like you might have left a few out there?
I left a few out there for sure. I think I went 79 the first day, 78 the next 2 days. Round 3 could have been a 74, 75. I missed a few birdie putts, probably by an inch length, and then I double bogeyed 18. I had a 4-putt double bogey, so it was tough. I had a 4-putt double bogey to start the day, so it's just kind of that's golf, though, I guess.
Yeah, putter let you down a little bit. Is that the most fun tournament that you play in during the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it competes with the Pebble Beach tournament. Obviously, the Pebble Beach tournament, I think, is a little less stress because you got a professional golfer that you're playing with. So if you hit one out of bounds, you just kind of walk the fairway with them, And I have a good partner, Keith Mitchell, who's been, partner of mine the last couple of years and good buddy of mine now. He came to a game last year. So Tahoe is all you. You don't want to embarrass yourself. And the first couple of years I was there was pretty embarrassing. So I've been trying to get better at this golf thing, and I'm getting to a spot now where I feel like I can play a little bit.
Do you think you have a shot at winning that thing one day?
Eventually, yeah. I think probably after I'm done playing football, when I have more time to golf. During my years of playing, I don't know if it's a real possibility.
Let's take a moment to hear from one of our sponsors, and that's Dano's Seasoning. It's time to elevate your meals to a Pro Bowl status with their all-natural ingredients and unbeatable flavor. Join their over 10 million fans nationwide and go out and get you some today. Time to yum, get you some. Last golf question. Who's one person over the last few years that you've gotten to play golf with that would have just blown your mind looking back maybe 10 years ago that truly would have blown your mind then?
Tiger Woods for sure. I got to play with him at the Riviera tournament. It was pretty surreal. I had my brother on the bag, and we just kept telling each other, like, this is the craziest thing. We were on the course, like, Tiger's 5 feet away from us, and we just, like we're little kids, It was so cool. It was so thoughtful for him to reach out and ask me to play with him, so that was a pretty special moment.
That's really awesome. And especially, I'm a little bit older than you, but growing up in our generation, like that is as good as it gets. All right. How long after the season does it take you to kind of get your body back and get mentally focused to like fully take on an off season?
I think when you come back for OTAs, for me at least, that's probably about 2 months after the season. Say we're done. Hopefully we're done the second week of February this year, but you get February, March, and you come back in mid-April for OTAs, which you know what that's about, and that's just really hanging with the guys and working out and practicing a little bit. When I, taking that 2.5 months off and letting my body get back to normal, and then going into OTAs and having a really good OTA, and I think this last year is probably the best OTA that I've had. And I've been on camera a few times where I say I don't work out in the off season, which when it's my time I don't, like that 2.5 months beforehand. But, not many people realize we've got 2 months, 10 weeks of OTA stuff where Monday through Thursday you're working out pretty hardcore. And that's kind of where I get most of my training done. And a lot of guys here in Buffalo take that approach. Some teams don't have OTAs, and their off seasons are a little bit different, a little bit longer than ours. But, I love being here in Buffalo. I love being with the boys, getting to hang out. We go to the golf course. We come here. We play poker. We go to Dalton's. So it's a good thing that we got going here, and it's helps build the camaraderie.
Who's the best poker player on the team?
So we started probably 2 years ago. Gabe Davis threw a game all the time, and it's not crazy, but we all started kind of bad. Like not really sure, not really sure how to play this game, how to bluff. I'm always the wild card because we play the 2-7 game as well. If you win with 2-7, everyone on the table pays you $25. So I'll shove with 2-7 and try to get people to fold. And I've gotten it a few times, but I've gotten caught a few times too. But over the last couple of years, we've really progressed into a pretty solid group. I'd say Dalton's up there. I would claim myself as being one of the top guys. And a sneaky one is Ryan Van Demark, Vandy. For some reason, every week he always leaves with money. He plays it very tight. And there's this thing called game theory optimal, which a lot of guys in professional poker they go by, which some of our guys have adopted, and they play it super tight to the book. But I'm a little old school, and you play the man, not the game. So I like to play it that way.
Was there one thing or anything specifically that you were trying to work on with your game this offseason?
Yeah, I think getting back to some good mechanics over the last couple of years, I feel like I've been a little on my heels, which causes me to extend a little bit on my backstroke, if you will, which again kind of throws everything off and forces you to be up a little bit higher. And I think that was uh, probably attributed to a few different things, whether it was a little bit of negligence or just a little bit of shoulder things going on. In the last couple of years, I've taken a couple dings and hits, and I've had to adjust and figure it out on the fly. But this offseason, making sure that I got with Chris Hess and biometric and make sure that I'm getting back to a spot where I feel that is consistent and efficient. So it's been a fun process to get back into that, and I'm still working with it. But every workout, every throwing session, every warm up session for that matter, going forward is now going to be planned out and derived towards throwing the ball as efficient as possible. So that's kind of the next progression and next step in my career right now is throwing from within the pocket, not trying to extend as much plays and take too many hits, and trying to extend my career as long as I can. I know I'm only going into year 7, but players change throughout the course of their careers, and I think that it's a big moment for me to kind of turn that corner too.
Yeah, and I've seen that progression throughout your career now. Game on the line, instincts kick in. You might run over a guy going into the end zone, but we're seeing, especially early in the year, when the games aren't, every game's not riding on playoff seeding or whatever it may be at the end. I've seen you play more from the pocket, but sometimes when the game gets on the line, okay, I'm gonna take off, try and take this one to the house, maybe take a little bit more contact, and that's okay. That's you utilizing your skill set. So I'm all good with that. But what's one thing that you look forward to most about training camp?
I love the dorms. I love staying in the dorms. You're with your teammates from basically when you wake up to when you go to sleep, and I think that's just a really cool part about it. I'm not sure how many other teams go off site and do the dorms, but it's something that I cherish. I look forward to every year. We're only there for maybe 2 weeks, right? So, and every fourth or fifth day is an off day. So you have to utilize your time wisely there, but it can be very beneficial in building a team. And like I said, the camaraderie and the chemistry that you have, and it forces you to get to know your teammates a little bit better. And I think that's why we do our OTAs the way that we do them here too. We try to build that tight-knit family bond here in Buffalo, and I think that training camp solidifies that as well.
I got a game for you. Talk about knowing your teammates. Me and Ryan Fitzpatrick used to play a game of know your teammates. So anytime if you're walking with somebody, like if you made a deal with someone else, you, Mitch Trubisky, it's $20 if you point out a guy and you can't say their name and where they went to college, which is interesting when you're on a 90-man roster and guys start getting hurt, you pick up guys. So me and Fitzy would have a lot of fun with that game. And we had some good laughs with that one when it'd be like some offensive lineman that I definitely should have known where he went to school. But we just picked him up and he'd catch me for 20 there. But what's one thing that you dread about training camp?
Cold showers. It's not that there's no warm showers there, but as a quarterback room, from Joe to Ronald Curry, Mark Lubick, Shane, and Mitch and myself, we've committed to only taking cold showers throughout the entirety of camp. And that's in the morning and at night after practice. So as much as I look forward to it, I dread it because those first few showers, man, when you get in, you can't catch your breath. It feels so good once you're done with it. So I dread it, but I also look forward to it. So that's the one thing.
I like that tradition. I'm a big cold plunge guy myself, and I've grown to appreciate it actually more like in this stage of life than I did when it was, I don't want to say mandatory, but sometimes mandatory through rehab or whatever it may be. So I actually enjoy it more now at this stage of life, but really getting into the cold plunging. All right. So you brought all the guys down to Nashville a week or so ago, getting together with all the skill guys. Is that something you would have done regardless this offseason, even if there wasn't as much turnover, or was this to get on the same page with all the new guys that you have out there in the receiver room?
That's something I've done every year. Maybe not my rookie year, but something I like to do and get the guys together. And the throwing is great. It's very fun. At the same time, like I'm not out there forcing guys to go dive for balls and stuff. We don't need them at that moment, right? It's more to get some timing down, but to spend again more time with these guys. And again, like you said, some turnover on our roster right now. So making sure that we're spending that time, getting to know each other, having a good time, making sure that we're laughing, going to good dinners, and again, sitting down in different tables with different guys, trying to learn more about them. So, we had a really good turnout this year. I was excited for the guys. We worked really hard, and we had a great time.
Yeah, Bean said that you hit him up from Pine Valley, like heading into day 2 of the draft, told him how much you liked Keon Coleman coming out of Florida State. What stood out to you about his game that you identified?
Well, I think if you looked at him, not just when he was getting targets, but when he wasn't getting targeted, when he was, running clear out routes, when he was going and blocking and actually taking it personal, and the way that our roster was built at the time, we had some smaller guys, and I'm not sure we had the big guy, other than Mac, to go up and catch a fade or went on a slant. So, we're going to ask him to do different things that we would ask Khalil Shakur to do, or Curtis Samuel for that matter. But again, just the dog, the tenacity that he had at Florida State and at Michigan State. I think that his Michigan State film was pretty dang good too. His ability to adjust midair and catch some of these back shoulders, obviously a basketball background. So I was very excited that Bean, trusted me and trusted his instincts there, and gave us that type of weapon, because he's definitely a pretty special athlete, and can't wait to see how we can utilize him to the best of his abilities and to help our team win football games.
He's an absolute stud for sure. All right, without giving it away any company secrets, it's Joe Brady taking over this offense. How much different will it look out on the field? As I'm calling these games this season, how much different will this offense under Joe Brady look?
We should average about 70 passes a game. We're not going to run. I'm just kidding. No, it's going to be awesome. Joe's freaking smart. He's smart as heck. He has the command from everybody in that offensive line room, or in the entire unit room, for that matter. He's got juice. He's got energy. He really relies on what we as players like. That's something that I've taken in from him, is that he doesn't want to call plays that we don't want to run. He wants to call the plays that we think as players on that field are going to work. So he asked the O-line, like, give me your top 3 runs. I will call them to start the game. Khalil, give me a play that that you're going to catch this ball and it's going to start to get you going. I will call that play in the first 10 plays. Like, it's little things like that, and I think that the way that he calls games, he's got such a good feel for the flow of it, when to call like a double move, when to call a completion pass. And again, the more conversations that we have with each other, the more that we can get on page, I think the more success that we're going to have.
Yeah, that's essentially what he said as well on the podcast a few weeks ago. He's trying to listen to the players. Then, when you listen to the players, they need to make it work then. And you'll see them feel like, okay, now I have to make this work, as opposed to if Joe Brady's just dialing it up and, not taking any contributions from anyone, any of the players. Switching gears just a touch. So your name is brought up maybe more than anybody with sports talk shows and whatnot, and people love debating your game and every which way of it. Do you keep receipts on those that are talking trash on you, or do you just try and ignore it?
No, I mean, I feel like at some point everybody said something bad about me, so I just assume it's everybody. I don't know.
I never have.
Some of these people in the talk show world and media world, but I'm just trying to be the best quarterback that I can be for the Buffalo Bills, and that's all I can focus on. I stay off of Twitter, and I download Instagram to post what I got to post, and then I delete it right after, and I just try to focus on what I can control, and I can't control any of that BS.
What defensive coordinator do you feel like is the toughest to prep against during the season?
Spags is pretty tough to game plan against. And then I think in our own division, Saleh is pretty dang good at what he does. Each and every week, it's different. We see, as a Buffalo Bills offense, as a quarterback for the Bills, we see different things that teams don't typically do to other teams. They're trying to throw us off our game. They're giving us a lot of too high, whether it's cover 2 or cover 4, and making us kind of take everything, get our run game involved. So that's just kind of what we do. It doesn't matter what the team, the defense is typically known for. We get our analytic notes before each and every week of like the advanced analytics, right? If they run cover 2 43% of the time on first and second down, or this and that, and I kind of see them, and it's been to a point, it's like I don't even look at those anymore, because these never pan out with the teams how they play us. So we get different shots from different teams. They bring different pressures that aren't on film, and we just got to be prepared for it as best as we can, stick to our base rules, and go from there.
I got to know this. How do you come up with, like, are you coming up with all the different handshakes, or are you collabing with the guys on what their handshake was going to be? And how the heck do you remember all these handshakes?
They're easy to remember. There's nothing that's too complex, to be honest, but it is a collaborative effort. I'll go up to, whether it's, I call him Ray Davis. Just like, hey, help me out. What do you want to do? And like he'll do something. I'm like, you know what? Let's add this, and then it's in the split second. It's done and over with, and forevermore it's that. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's easy. I lean on the guys and what they like to do and what they like to see and what types of handshakes that they want. So it's not all my doing.
That makes sense. You brought him up. How did Ray Davis look at OTAs? I got to see him play at Kentucky. He torched my Cardinals. Did he look good during OTAs?
He did. He looked really good. He's a smart kid too. He's got his head on his shoulders very well. And when he runs the thing, I'm excited to see him in pads because it's a little bit different in OTAs and mini camp. We're not really hitting or thudding that much. So to see him in pads, I was very impressed with his college tape, obviously, and he could be a very good player for us and help us win some games.
All right, last one for me. I know you won't be out there for this play, but what's your thoughts on the new kickoff rules?
I'm just as confused as everybody else. We've sat as quarterbacks. We don't ever sit in the special teams meetings, but this OTAs we like decided like as a group like we're gonna sit in here and learn and listen, and I still don't know. I still don't get it. It's basically a offensive zone scheme. Like
Right.
just maybe like it's gonna be funky. I don't know if it adds more stress or less stress to the guys up there, but I think what's gonna happen, you're gonna have to get a kicker that can tackle and
Right.
you feel comfortable with tackling, because I think more often than not the kicker is obviously gonna be the last line of defense, which he mostly is in regular kickoffs as well, but I think it's very more prominent for him to be in the action now. So if you've got an athletic kicker, whether he's a DB or a wide receiver for that, put him out there, see if he can kick it past the 20 and go down there and try to make a tackle.
It's going to be interesting. Calling games, I'm going to need a cheat sheet on all of the rules so I can reference them. There's no way I'll be able to memorize all that beforehand. Hey, I hope you have an awesome training camp, brother. Have a safe, healthy season, and let's go bring a ring back to Buffalo.
Go Bills, baby. Thank you, E. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Go Bills. Appreciate you.